Written communication is vital to the human experience, for without it, are we no better than wild beasts? Animals verbally and visually communicate with each other to establish territory, attract mates, and express emotion. But no creature has mankind's ability to use written language. Through trial and error, humans discover new ways to preserve their history and legends through the written languages and art. And in the year 105 CE, mankind's greatest communication tool was brought to life: paper. Back during the turn of the era, paper was literally the coolest thing before sliced bread. Forget papyrus, have you seen this book? It has pages! Although expensive early on and not easily accessible to the common folk, paper eventually became the ideal way to communicate and store information. Letters, books, news, magazines, pointless government forms, they all used paper. To this day, we still rely on paper in one form or another, even with our technological advancements. But it wasn't until the year 2000 that paper would realize its full potential. We are unworthy, O Great One. My first encounter with Paper Mario was the Thousand Year Door on GameCube. At a young time in my life where I rarely played RPGs aside from Pokemon, Thousand Year Door blew me away with its amazing storytelling, creative world, lovable cast, and fun gameplay. It quickly became one of my favorite games ever, until the last fight with Bowser kicked my butt, after which I put down the game for years. But besides that, it was a blast. Yet despite my love for Thousand Year Door, I ignored the sequel, Super Paper Mario for the Wii, when it first came out. Completely removing turn-based combat and partners I loved in the previous game proved too big of a hurdle for me to climb. Thankfully, I have since played and thoroughly enjoyed Super Paper Mario, particularly its gut-wrenching story and lovable cast. Too bad my teenage self couldn't get past his Thousand Year Door face. Yeah, whatever, I'd never be good as Thousand Year Door. I wasn't alone, however. Even after playing the game, fans at the time were more concerned about bringing back the turn-based combat, potentially downplaying the good storytelling found in Super Paper Mario. They pleaded with Nintendo, begging them to make Paper Mario great again. Little did they know the monstrosity they had summoned. Sticker Star watered down the entire Paper Mario experience, leaving only the series' bare bones. Or should I say bare paper? Blank paper? Sure, it brought back the turn-based combat fans desired, but at the cost of actual experience growth, partner characters, creative NPCs and enemies, unique world settings, and engaging writing.
That sounds like a pretty good trade to me.
Needless to say, Sticker Star is seen as the lowest point in the series and loathed by most fans, myself included. But Nintendo kept chugging along, either blissfully ignorant to the hate Sticker Star received, or remarkably stubborn to their current vision. Maybe it was a little bit of both. Either way, 4 years later, Color Splash made its appearance on the Wii U, following in the infamous footsteps of its predecessor. Admittedly, I enjoyed Color Splash, mostly for the visual appeal, music, and comedic writing. That said, combat was once again boring, tedious, and repetitive. It's no surprise that most fans didn't take too kindly to it. After Color Splash's mixed reception, where could the series go from here? Would Nintendo continue on their Paper Mario rampage? Would they go back to the format fans desired? Was it possible to have a great Paper Mario game in the year 2020?
Okay, enough of the angelic chorus, we get it. You found a new sound effect. Ooh, doesn't mean you need to use it every 2 jokes.
When the Origami King was first revealed, hope began to creep back into the hearts of many fans, including myself, that this was the game to put Paper Mario back on the road to greatness. Well, more like cautious optimism. Part of that hype was fueled by a strongly supported leak a few months earlier, stating the next Paper Mario would be a return to form for the series. With trailers revealing the semi-return of partner characters, unique bosses, and quirky storytelling, the Origami King looked like it would fulfill the leaker's prophecy. But now that I've unfolded every crease Paper Mario the Origami King has to offer, can I honestly say it's a return to form for the series? That, my dear friends, is what I am to answer in this review. Man, that was one of the longest intros I've made. I wonder if anybody actually stayed around this long. Oh well. Let us begin! Shy Guy to the rescue.
Luigi! Luigi!
Enjoying Origami King's story is less about the overall plot and more about the journey along the way. There's nothing inherently wrong with the narrative per se, but it doesn't stand out beyond a typical bad guy stealing the princess, forcing you to journey through the world to save her. You can't even go 2 days without the entire kingdom getting taken over by some power-hungry lunatic. No offense, Bowser.
I'm a little hurt, but it's true.
The last 5 hours of Origami King do make for a surprising colorful ending, but it's still more or less the same plot as the past 2 titles in the series. What separates Origami King from the others, however, are the little moments you discover along the way. From Whispering Woods to an Edo period theme park, the newly crafted Mushroom Kingdom is filled with new areas to explore and fun puzzles to solve. Not every area hits as hard as the next, but the best areas make the journey worth it. Becoming an honorary ninja, battling the paper macho blooper, enjoying a relaxing dip at the hot spring, admiring the gorgeous autumn leaves. The more I think back, the more sweet memories I find. These sweet memories usually involve the partners and toads that help Mario on his journey, most of which being Olivia, the latest story-significant partner character. Normally, these partner characters are either mundane or unbearably annoying for their own good. Olivia, on the other hand, never overstays her welcome. In fact, I quite enjoyed her commentary. Her sweet innocence can be hilarious, adorable, or both in any given circumstance. Sure, she acts more as a tutorial guide for the first couple hours, but once you escape the beginning forest, her personality opens up, and you get to see what an adorable klutz she can be. However, even though she is a precious piece of folded paper, there's only room in this heart for one Olivia. By the end of the game, Olivia behaved more like a little sister towards Mario, more so than an obligatory sidekick. For a series that has lost its creative depth in terms of characters, I respect that choice. I like that sibling bond that Olivia and Mario share more than her randomly confessing her feelings to Mario. Which reminds me, I will not allow anybody to ship Olivia and Mario on this channel. Artists, put your tablets down. Fanfiction writers, go take a cold shower. Don't you even think about ruining their precious bond, you sick people. Besides Olivia, the Origami King introduces partner characters to the mix, albeit for brief periods. These slightly nuanced NPCs join Mario during his adventure, typically one for each ribbon area. Battle-wise, they may not as well be there. Most of the time, they don't even attack, even when it's their turn, except for the last 2 partners who are a little more competent in battle. Story-wise, however, the partners add something I've been craving for in recent Paper Mario games: heart. Oh yeah, the cheese flares up my lactose intolerance. While Color Splash introduced the Toad's witty and sometimes piercing one-liners, the game was still missing the heart that drove the first 3 games. Bonding and growing with a cast of characters with their own perspectives on life made your journey all the more special and enlightening. Unfortunately, Sticker Star and Color Splash lost that special bond. Origami King finds its heart and soul with some surprisingly strong partner characters: a Bob-omb with amnesia, an Indiana Jones Toad who's more professor than adventurer, a too-cool-for-school captain of the sea, Kamek. Their commentary and little stories made the paper adventure more comedic and endearing. Without Olivia unknowingly insulting the partners or Mario listening to their outlooks on life, Origami King would be nothing more than a bland pop-up book. Of course, there's still room to improve with partners for future games. Having more diverse partners join in on your adventure would strengthen the narrative, and not restricting these partners to one area would allow you to connect with them more. That said, I enjoyed what they did with the partner characters. There were even a couple moments where I got a little emotional, whether from sadness or laughter. Origami King's story hasn't changed my way of viewing the world or left any grand impact on my life, but the little moments throughout made for a memorable adventure.
I am Mario. I am the best. But he's a good guy. He has.
Never has paper in a video game looked so good. Everything about the Origami King, graphically speaking, is an artistic masterpiece. Not enough praise is given to the Intelligent Systems Paper Mario team for their attention to detail with their paper world. In fact, I think some people purposely ignore it so they can complain about the rest of the game, but that's none of my business. Because every area brings with it a new theme, exploring the Mushroom Kingdom is a visual marvel. You can see how they made the trees, mountains, islands, buildings, and more, as if you're walking through a real-life paper diorama. And that water, oh, let me just say, that is some nice water. Finding the toads hidden around the world helps with your exploration as well. Trust me, in order to find every hidden toad, you will need to search every nook and cranny. The toad hunt this time around is a lot more fun than in previous games, because not only do you get their hilarious dialogue, you also find the creative ways they fold the toads into the environment, whether it be a bunny toad or a toad stuck in a hole. By the time you find every toad, you'll know the area very well. Another way the Origami King encourages exploration is with the non-bottomless holes scattered throughout the world. Mario uses the confetti he collects from plants, rocks, and the flesh of origami minions to fill out these holes. It's more or less the same concept as paint from Color Splash, except with less story and combat significance. I'm a little mixed about this mechanic. On the one hand, confetti seems more like an obligatory task or collectible, whereas paint played the part in the narrative of Color Splash. On the other hand, I never ran out of confetti when I needed it, nor did I need a specific colored confetti to fill up a spot. While I don't particularly love confetti, it was a mildly enjoyable way to fill in the map. Although I wish there was an option to change the confetti to something besides cherry blossoms, if only for the sake of variety. But it doesn't end at the environmental settings. The origami enemies are just as visually impressive. Each one is designed to match origami figures in real life, and it's neat to see how my favorite Mario enemies look like in origami. The attention to detail is impressive. Clearly, Intelligent Systems brought in a professional origami artist to help with the 3D models. The same goes for bosses in Origami King. Whether masterfully folded or incredibly lifelike, the bosses are beautifully designed. It's as if you could reach into your screen and pick up the color pencil case or grab the water dragon. That's how perfectly replicated the models are.
We'll go now, here I go now, here I go now, whoa!
The newest Paper Mario is not only visually appealing, but musically intoxicating. Like any great video game OST, new tracks in Origami King just make you stop and soak it all in. And when that happens multiple times in the game, you know you have a phenomenal OST in your hands. Tracks such as the main theme and Shogun Studios utilize a sort of rock guitar theme, while also sounding distinct from one another. These tracks are so unique that part of the excitement in exploring a new region was hearing the new overworld music. Maybe I'm a sucker for good guitar, but I can't get enough of these songs. The battle themes are also incredible, albeit remixes of the same track. I think it goes to show how strong that original track is, because almost every new battle theme was an improvement on the original. I mean, when the battle theme has you like this. And you've been playing for 30 hours? That's a sign of a good song. The same goes for boss battles, although I'm not sure they hold up as well as the main battle theme. That is, until you get towards in-game. The music that plays in that final hour is bone-chilling amazing. If ever there was a time for Nintendo to sell the OST for their games, now would be the time. Let me give you money, Nintendo!
As patient as I That's what you get! You stupid turtle!
Without a doubt, the most controversial aspect of the Origami King is the combat. Ever since Super Paper Mario, Intelligent Systems has tried to drastically change the combat in each subsequent entry, creating new ways to play. The problem is, these new combat styles are either not fun to play or quickly become tedious. Until the Origami King came along. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but the combat in Origami King is not only passable, it's fun. Solving a puzzle to gain the most in battle is a creative way to mix up the typical turn-based combat that started in Sticker Star. Basically, you have to either turn or slide a row in this circular arena in order to line up the baddies within a limited amount of turns. Granted, these puzzles start out as simple as connecting the dots, but as you get farther along in the game and new enemies are introduced, the puzzles become more complex, requiring you to think a little more. Now, unless you are a puzzle genius, which I am not, some of these puzzles might stump you, and you'll want to spend coins to either increase your time limit or have Toads do it for you. I cannot believe you're supporting this pay-to-win mentality. How dare you? How much did EA pay you? I mean, hey, coins are nearly an unlimited resource in Origami King, so clearly the developers expect you to spend them all on Toads, right? Anyway, once you complete the puzzle, the normal Paper Mario combat section starts. Nothing too special about this, aside from the breakable items. Items wear out eventually, a la Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing, and really a lot of Nintendo games lately, forcing you to keep a good inventory of strong attacks. Although you'll find plenty of items during the course of your journey, so there really isn't too much need to worry. Besides, the items usually last a good amount of time. They don't disappear after one use, like stickers or cards. Thank goodness. That said, there isn't much variety in terms of attacks, so it can get a little repetitive over time. The curse of Paper Mario combat, I suppose. Personally, I wish they would add more creative ways to attack, beyond jumping, hammer, and flowers. Well, technically there are a couple more ways to attack, the first being Olivia, but she can only attack on rare occasions during wave battles and boss battles. To be fair, her attacks are incredibly strong, so using her every time would make battles pointless. The second way is partners. But like I said before, you never know if your companion is going to actually wake up to fight by your side. You also can't control their actions, so they might as well not be there. In short, the puzzles are good fun, even if I suck at them, but the normal battles can get a tad repetitive over time. However, Origami King does a good job of mixing in new enemies towards the end to spice things up just a little. Besides standard combat, there's also the paper macho battles, where you battle giant papier-mâché versions of standard enemies in the overworld. What papier-mâché has to do with origami doesn't quite make sense to me, but like maybe they have a papier-mâché origami alliance. I think that happened a couple years ago, The Great Origami Papier-Mâché Alliance of 2015. If you didn't know that, man, you must have failed history or something. These fights tend to be a lot of fun as you try to avoid their rampaging and then hit their weaknesses. Of course, some were simple, but they provided a nice break from standard combat, even acting as mini-bosses sometimes. Speaking of bosses, I love the boss fights more than any other form of battles in Origami King. It was a blast strategizing the best way to attack my opponent and then creating a path to my goal. Granted, some boss weaknesses aren't obvious, so it requires a little bit of experimenting to find the correct solution. However, the game provides hints during battle, and outside of battle if you look carefully enough, so if you play your cards right, you'll be sure to solve the puzzle. I've heard a lot of complaints about these bosses being obtuse or hard to figure out, but honestly, no boss gave me too much trouble, aside from the final boss. Actually, I felt pretty good about myself after destroying most of them, similar to the satisfaction of completing a difficult crossword puzzle. Overall, in terms of combat, Origami King might be my favorite in the series since The Thousand Year Door. There's still plenty of room to improve, I get that, even the puzzle aspects, but I enjoyed the fights, especially the bosses, and would definitely play them again.
We'd go try to stop him, but, we're Koopa Troopas. What are we gonna do, walk into him slowly? Maybe.
Going into the Origami King, I'm sure many expected Sticker Star 3, more than a return to form for the Paper Mario series. That's the way I saw it. But once I got my chance to play through it, I realized that the Origami King is not Sticker Star 3, neither is it a reincarnation of the old games. It's a new fold in the Paper Mario series that mixes elements of the first 3 Paper Mario games with the action-adventure style of Sticker Star. While I admit the overall story is nothing special, Origami King is an adventure I don't regret taking, with an emotional ending to rival some of the original Paper Mario endings. The beautiful world, great characters, exceptional writing, phenomenal music, and surprisingly fun combat makes Origami King a must-play for those willing to try something new. I encourage Paper Mario fans to at least open their minds to this new way to play. I understand it's not what Paper Mario used to be, but there is plenty of good to be found in Origami King. Intelligent systems. If you can make this gorgeous game on the Switch no less, why in the world does Three Houses look like it's running on the latest Wii hardware? Well, there are a few reasons for that. 1, some of the blame falls on Koei Tecmo. 2, it's much easier to work with the Paper Mario art style than Waifu Emblem. And 3, Mario gets a higher budget. Yeah, I get that. But the difference in quality is too great for 2 first-party Nintendo titles. I don't expect the same level of graphical fidelity, but the quality gap shouldn't be that wide. At the very least, that should never be in a first-party Nintendo game. What do you mean by that? Pictures of fruit. Oh, Paper Mario has pictures of fruit too. See? It won't hurt you. It's just a nice drawing of a banana. See? Nothing to be afraid of. Afraid? I'm not afraid. Fruit, especially pictures of fruit, doesn't scare me. Nope, not scared here. Completely okay. It's not like fruit can attack you or anything. It's just a picture. It's just a JPEG. Those insecures get me every time. Thank you so much for watching. Did you enjoy the Origami King? What was your favorite moment? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe for more Nintendo goodness. Goodbye, you good people. Woohoo!